Hi, everybody. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sparrows. Here, in who knows where land. That's just where we live now. Last time we left off, everybody was dealing with problems. Red Iron had almost lost his leg. It's been quite seriously injured. As a matter of fact, any additional injury, and you will lose that leg, so be careful. B is now finding that you are not in Kansas anymore. Amos almost had a mental breakdown, and Clarion's probably well on her way to a mental breakdown with all these problems that she has to fix. So
It's fine. It's completely fine.
It's fine. It's good. Circuits. Clarion, you are up first. You go down the stairwell looking, and you see Red Iron standing near the engine room, and his leg has been burnt almost all the way down to the bone. Your sensors start kicking on. Third degree, fourth degree burn, like all over the place. As you see that if Red Iron had not received such serious burns to his body, he would have probably bled out through that leg already at this point. He's just kind of sitting there on the floor, looking at his foot.
Hi, Clarion.
Red Iron, what happened?
I had to protect Archimedes.
Did you have to do it where you got burned in such a dramatic fashion?
That was a result of my attempting to protect grandfather.
Clarion, while they're talking, is kneeling down and beginning to give him medical attention.
All right, give me a brains roll, and we'll see what you determine about this and what help you can provide at the moment. That is a 8. Is that what you going with?
No, he needs more help than that, so I'll use that ace I've got pocketed from earlier.
The thing about Aether and Steamworks is medical roll is what is done for that entire day. So if you happen to have a bad initial work done, then that will stick with them for a while. So go ahead and reroll using that ace. Let's see what happens with this roll. Critical failure. So
Seriously?
So do you want to do something that's potentially going to be bad for you, Clarion, or something that's bad for, in this case, Red Iron?
Bad for me, please.
Bad for you. So I'm going to say that with everything that has occurred, Annika, dang it, I wanted to get creative. All right, Annika gave you a reroll. I enjoy critical failures, audience members. That is a 4. That's not huge.
I have a +1 from earlier, don't I?
You do have a +1.
Okay, well, is 10 enough to not mess him up too bad?
10 is enough to stabilize him, and that's it.
I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it.
With a 10, you recognize that the burns are so extensive that Red Iron will likely be dealing with this for a few days, if not longer, before it starts even healing, even being a Lesrin. So you patch up the leg. She provides you some chemical substances that will keep you numb. If you decide to take them, Red Iron, you will be at 4 distractions while you are drugged.
Does my quirk apply?
Your quirk.
Out of my gourd?
Mental influence. Actually, absolutely mental will make it so that you won't be able to notice any of these kinds of distractions. So yeah, you won't have them. I forgot that you actually had that for a second. I'm sorry about that. So even wounds don't provide you those either. You're already crazy enough that looking at your leg, you process pain differently. Your leg is just talking to you, telling you that it's injured.
Yeah. Red kind of doesn't see where the machine ends and the flesh begins, so it's just seeing it as like another broken object.
In your mind's eye, you see the warning, damaged tissue. It's just like you're already a robot.
So Red would of course take the chemicals.
All right, so you take those, and you see the warnings kind of glitch in your vision, and then they just disappear.
All right. Well, let us hope that I don't need to do a 100-meter dash in the next few days.
Do you need further painkillers?
Good one.
Thank you, grandfather. No, I don't. No, I am fine.
If you're sure, please do not hesitate to tell me if you have any further needs. Now, let's see if we can separate you from this metal.
Yeah, probably.
You can grab like a big metal spatula that's nearby and just proceed to.
Oh wait, Red hopped up on painkillers. Red just sort of pushes off and peels.
There's a as part of his skin is torn
Please,
off.
please refrain. We need to preserve your skin.
It's like barbecue that's just coming away from the bone.
It's just the outer casing. It's replaceable.
While you are correct, healing is aided if you have as much of the original tissue that is salvageable as possible.
Oh, too late, I guess.
Indeed, it is too late.
As those medical solvents begin to kick in, Red Iron, the walls around you begin singing, and the room itself has a nice fuzzy and warm feeling, like sitting in front of, or in a nice sunbeam in the middle of the afternoon.
Can you hear it, Clarion?
No, I do not hear it.
Archimedes is happy that we escaped.
I am happy that we escaped too. Are you sure that we escaped?
Yes.
We have escaped.
Yes, we have escaped. Otherwise, why would Archimedes sing?
I do notice that the cannon fire has ceased, so that is a good sign.
There was cannon fire.
There was indeed cannon fire. Red Iron, despite your attitudes about flesh and machinery not being that different, I do believe we should indulge your flesh and have you rest. Please follow me to the medical bay.
That's a very good idea. And then Red Iron just lays down.
Lays on the ground.
Oh,
Just
dear. And then Clarion pages Amos. He's like, I require assistance lifting Red Iron.
You call for Amos's assistance, and before his response comes to you, give me an aware roll. Okay, you don't notice. Amos, how do you respond?
What happened?
Red Iron has passed out, and I require assistance moving him to the medical bay.
Red Iron is at the door as he's asking this. He opens the door. He's got his nose in the air. Red Iron opens the door. They've got their nose in the air. Barbara. Oh, good lord!
Seeing him on the...
Amos, please, exercise restraint. I do not wish to have to put you in the medical bay as well.
Amos, you've seen people in wartime take like an IUD before, take a flamethrower. It's like a mix between the two of those.
Ty, an IUD is contraceptive. I think you mean an IED.
IED, not an IUD. I'm tired. Give me a break. You've seen people take an IUD to the face. Yes. IED.
Why? How? They have 4th degree burns. The engine is... Clarion.
Yes.
Start from the beginning, leave nothing out.
We all
Also,
blacked
where are
out.
we going?
I have no idea.
Medical bay, then. Begin.
Oh, yes. I thought you were referring to the ship. Yes, we are taking him to the medical bay.
Amos, give me an aware roll. Also a no.
I'm gonna burn my ace.
Okay. Nice, much better. So, as you are looking back, you're discussing this with Clarion. You're getting ready to pick up Red Iron and move him. You can see the Sil artifact attached to your engine nearby. You also notice that the little flanges, the little edges of it, have started moving on their own. And out of the base of one near the floor, this little metallic tube thing has gone in and has inserted itself into Red Iron's side. I love the faces I'm seeing right now.
Jacko, we can't hear you.
And Amos slowly reaches for his knife, drawing it lightning fast, bringing it down on the cord connected to Red Iron.
Give me an agile roll as you attempt to sever this thing. That is a critical failure, Amos. Something that harms you or those around you, but less. Red Iron's like me.
Everyone, but less.
Everyone but less. Okay. You swing in towards this thing. Doyle gave you an ace. You can try again.
Ty,
Yes.
high or low?
Hi.
I'm burning that ace.
All right.
But I like where you're going with this.
Okay, go ahead and give us that ace roll. Critical failure number 2 in a row. Apparently, fate has spoken, everyone. So I guess everyone around us, in one way or another. Amos swings in, very fast, lightning fast, trying to hit this thing. The Siltech immediately has some sort of defense. Oh, Andromech gave him an ace!
He swings again! He swings again!
He swings again! 5.
Wait, shit, wrong roll.
Oh, yes, that is an aware roll. 4!
Better!
Okay, this is what happens instead. It's not a critical failure. So, Amos, you are not going to hit the engine this time. Instead, you swing towards the Siltech. Lightning fast, your knife comes down. You sever the bit that's sticking out of Sylvia and going into Red Iron's side. As you slice it in half, you see the two edges of it just kind of spark for a second. The one that you split draws itself back into Sylvia. The other piece that's sticking out of Red Iron sits there and goes limp against the floor for a second. And then it goes into his side.
Get it! Get it! Get it now! Get it now!
You see Amos yelling about something, Clarion. What do you do?
Well, does she notice what just retracted into Red Iron's body?
You can roll aware now. I'll give you a +2 on this one to see if you can see it before it happens. Critical failure, number 3. That's number 4, actually, in the last...
Officer, what's wrong?
Cord,
All right.
neck, still. I don't know where it went. Into him.
Clarion,
It went into Red Iron.
It went into Red Iron. Yes, and Clarion immediately tries to feel.
You did get a reroll from Agile Mech.
Oh, I did.
So you can try rolling once more. But let's see what happens. I might have to make those slightly more expensive.
The dice are... Yes!
No, nat 20 instead. Okay. Do you want something that'll be very beneficial to you? In this case, you'll be more perceptive of anything that Sylvia does whenever you're nearby. So this will give you bonuses to rolls whenever you're around Sylvia in attempting to see what this piece of technology is doing. Or would you not only be able to see what happens, but potentially be able to react fast enough to grab the end before it goes inside of Red Iron's side fully?
I think she is going to lean on distrusting Sylvia and will take option number 1.
Okay. At any point you're around Sylvia, if something strange or out of the ordinary happens, you'll get to roll now without having to roll an aware check first to determine that something is even going on. So, you do happen to see this thing just climb inside of Red Iron's side.
That is disturbing. And she immediately gets out a scalpel and anesthetic and attempts to go fishing for it.
All right, so this is on his
Amos-
left side. It's opposite from where his leg is. Whatever it was went in very quickly. And as you look down at the wound, you can see that the wound has been closed behind its entry.
Strange. Yes, to the medical bay, please, Amos. We need more equipment.
Door's already opening, body's already moving. Amos has it. Amos even has a pistol right behind them, aimed at the engine.
Amos grabs Red Iron and immediately starts booking up, holding his gun in one hand, holding Red Iron awkwardly in the other, and starts climbing the ladder, heading into the medical bay.
The
Unfortunately,
third arm runs back and hops on Red Iron's shoulder, not realizing anything's wrong.
Amos actually carries the arm in his mouth as they run.
You hurry up the stairs.
Hello, Krabby.
How do you react to Red Iron's like messed up leg and burned skin like sloughing off on your equipment?
There is adrenaline in the Lesrin's blood. The Lesrin just saw the engine leap out. The Lesrin doesn't care the fact that there's blood on the uniform, that there is something that smells like barbecue, and that something parasitic just jumped out of the engine, planted itself inside of the engineer, and then proceeded to close the wound behind it. Lesrin is move.
All right, you're rushing up the stairs as quickly as you can. You immediately bring Red Iron over, put him onto what has been retrofitted into an operating table since Clarion doesn't need a bed. And we'll move over to the other characters out on the deck.
Before we do,
Yes.
does the Archimedes have restraints for the table?
That's up to Clarion. Would you have applied restraints in any of your equipment?
Yes, I think on the operating table there would be restraints just in case.
Okay.
There is restraints. There is restraints being put down all over.
Okay, so you just lock in Red Iron onto the table.
Sorry, buddy.
We move back out to the deck, where we see the captain, where we see Leifei, where we see Carrot, who is hobbling out. Cullen's standing right next to B. Just goes, "No, thank you for whatever it is that happened, and for trying to be helpful, B. I know you're trying, even if it's just really irritating."
You're welcome, Cullens. And I know that you're trying to do your job, and you normally do a really good job. So there's that.
Yeah. You see him just kind of turn and walk away confused for a second. Scarborough looks over and goes, "Well, looks like we're done here. Where the hell are we? B, can you figure out where we are?"
Yeah, I can look. I'm sure we can figure it out. It can't be that far, right?
Right.
And she'll move over to the navigation panel.
Probably not that far. Right. B moves over there, immediately starts going in, checking where the star positions are, the sun, anything that is a refractive celestial body that would say this is Avalon, this is Silver Shield, yada yada. Go ahead and give me a magical roll, and we'll see how successful you are at determining your location. Otherwise, you might need more time. That is a 12. So with that, you get a rough estimate that you are months away at top velocity from where you were at before. You don't know exactly where, but I'll give you a map real quick. This is the Aethersphere, and within the Aethersphere, you've got all these hexes, which are roughly a week of travel at top speeds for most of your airships. When they slow down or stop, obviously that'll be changed. You had been in this location near Myocenes and Avalon over there somewhere, if you see the image of your ship. Now you are somewhere over here. You have traveled a vast distance in the blink of an eye, and you're in one of the less traveled sectors. As a matter of fact, this place is known to be full of dangerous things, pirates, thallium, a bunch of asteroids, and there's a whole belt that is rumored to be the remains of a planet that once was here a long time ago that is now scattered to the winds.
Stupid asteroids.
As you say that, V, and you look around, being worried about asteroids, being worried about, these types of circumstances, you do notice a lot of dark shapes flitting through the void around you.
Captain?
Yeah?
You remember that time a while back when we got Barnabas?
Barnabas, like when we bought him originally at the store, or after you decorated him, or what?
When I put the face on him, you remember?
Do I? Let's see. He's gonna roll for it. No, I don't remember. Why?
This has nothing at all to do with that then. But we appear to be in an asteroid belt.
What? Lefe, floodlights. You see him like flick a few switches, and some of the lights that are on the side of the ship just go, and then they start flickering. And before they turn off suddenly, you see huge stones like floating around you, and then they go, and then the engine goes. Then you feel the air kind of dim down to just a light hum as the atmospheric generator receives backup power, but the main engine turns off.
This seems less than ideal.
Red Iron, where are you at? We need what's wrong? What happened? You see the captain like start freaking
Engineering's down. Engineering is down. I repeat, engineering is down.
Engineering's down. The captain comes running into the medical bay, sees everybody.
Crew, be advised. Artifact is hostile. I repeat, artifact is hostile, possibly parasitic.
We don't
What?
know that. I'm still performing diagnostics, officer.
Sylvia seems like a good friend to Red Iron.
Fucking SIL technology. I should have known better, but no. Captain Cal says, we can take these things and sell them. Whatever, Admiral. Whatever.
I believe Red Iron attached the SIL artifact to our engine, and that caused the sudden change in position.
Why would he do that?
His name is Archimedes.
That's the name of the ship. Just get some rest, buddy. Just get some rest. We are pirates, so we will do this.
One other
we can
thing of
win
importance.
the day at time. You see him just like
Captain,
turn and immediately
Captain.
have what can only be described as a mental breakdown temporarily as he walks back out onto the deck.
Clarion sticks her head out and says, I suggest administering alcohol, Captain.
Great idea. I think I've got some rum in my cabin. I'll be back in about 15 to 20.
Good.
So Lefe up on top goes, I've got some of that rum up here still.
I'll take a sip. Also, let me show you where we are.
Okay, it can't possibly be that bad.
So at this point, we are going to say that the crew takes a moment to breathe. And where do we see everybody in the next 5 minutes? I'll start off with B, because she was the last one we stuck with. So B, where are you in the next 5 minutes? You still working on your console? You're still trying to figure out exactly where you're located?
She's trying to figure out exactly where they're located and also the safest way out of the asteroid belt, since she knows what happens if they don't go the safe way.
All right. Give me one more magical roll as you're attempting to continue advancing these things. Of course, remember that you can use ZEP if necessary, although you have used all of your overload at the moment, so that's going to start being painful. Nat 20! All right. Do you want to have some exceptional skill at determining locations in the future, which will give you a bonus to rolls on all of those? Or do you want to be able to see the safest route to where you could escape this asteroid field now?
You always make these so difficult, Ty.
That's the idea.
She's still in her feels about the last asteroid belt, so I think she would go with number 2.
Okay, so in this case, you do plot a course that, as long as Leifei is able to stick with it, will put you into a safe location just outside of this belt of flying stones and rocks. But you are right here on the map. So, yeah. You found your position. Each one of these hexes at full speed, again, is roughly a week of travel. You are quite far from any of the major worlds. While there are sometimes Empire outposts or even civilian outposts sometimes out here, you don't know of any that are nearby V. You've never been this far out before. Zyther is the closest planet to the current position that you're in, but you have no idea where your supplies are at. It might be beneficial for someone to speak with your cook. Vicky might be able to tell you what you're looking at when it comes to food and supplies, as you are at least 7 weeks from the nearest place that has food guaranteed, and it's a lava planet.
I mean, barbecue?
I'm sure all the burning that everybody has will make going to this lava planet fine, unless you can find an outpost or some other thing in the void here. So we move on over. Where are you at within 5 minutes, Clarion?
She is attending to her 2 patients. She is running diagnostics on Red Iron to try and determine, to see if she can image like his insides, if she has that kind of
Well, you
technology.
don't have that high level of tech aboard the ship. You know that there are stations that would have it. You can try to modify yourself to see through him, but if you do that wrong, you either could injure yourself or you could burn him further. If you want to do that, that is a chaos roll, and you will just roll brains to try to modify yourself to see x-rays.
I think she'd rather rely on a tool to do it, so
Okay.
she's gonna shelve plans for that and maybe make modifications to Sheldon later. So she's basically just trying to determine what state Red Iron is in and what's the best course of treatment going forward. What the if anything is abnormal for his vitals, considering the general health.
The crazy
Status he's in.
situations that
Yeah.
have befallen him.
Like, what is it doing?
Okay, so first off, you'll need to make a brains roll to determine the general overall state and what it might require to fix Red Iron. With an 18, you determine that with natural healing, after you had that leg set and maybe you had a tissue graft, he would be back on his feet, since everything heals faster in Aether and Steamworks because of magic. He'd probably be back up within the week if you can fix that. If there's some sort of complication related to the SIL technology inside of his body, you can't account for what that will mean. If Lesrin healing is input on top of this, if he can find a way to get that to kick in, although it seems not to have worked appropriately with his right arm in the past, you're thinking maybe only a few days until that leg is healed enough that he can use it appropriately and be back in working business. Now, the next thing you need to do is make an agile roll as you attempt to do an explorative surgery to find out what the hell went inside of his body. That is less effective with an 8. This will cause some damage to him if you wish to keep that roll. Either damage or you don't find anything. Your choice. I'll leave those choices to you.
Yeah, I think she'd rather avoid doing more damage considering the state of the patient, so I would rather go with not finding anything.
All right, so this particular case with Red Iron is going to take Clarion a few hours to do this. Annika gave you a reroll though, so maybe you are more successful. You are not.
Nope.
5 is less successful, unfortunately. But it's still, you still have that choice. So you're not going to cause damage to him, but you don't find anything. The one thing that is confusing you about this is you check, you make a small incision in his side where the thing went in. There's no trace of it. You clear that back up, you restitch it, you don't do anything major there. You try to press on his chest, you press on his stomach, you try to find anything out of place. You're not able to find anything. You even go as far as like tracing little areas where something that was that size should be found. You're not finding anything. Whatever this thing was, it has left no trace of its presence and is somewhere in his body that you can't find, which leads you to believe that it is in an area that normally shouldn't be accessible to most things, like inside of a bone somewhere.
That is troubling. She makes copious notes.
And we'll have you again make a brains roll as you attempt to assist Bicky a little bit further and see if you can help her feel better. Critical failure on the case of Clarion, if you want that, one is going to be that you just don't attempt anything because you're too caught up in what's happening with Red Iron. Two is that in an attempt to assist Bicky, something happens in the room with you that causes her further harm.
I think, can I use endurance since this is a long day and she knows that she's not in a good condition, but she would like to just take a minute to like recalibrate everything, run some diagnostics.
Absolutely
on
believe that
herself.
this is an endurance situation. You've been through a heck of a lot. And I'll let you keep the big bees ace there. You can put it back on your sheet for later.
Thank you, bees.
All right, so go ahead. This is using your endurance. You are breathing heavy for a robot. For an automaton, you've been through a lot, and your brain is starting to have to quantify way too much information in not a great way. So go ahead and give us another roll, and we'll see. 16 plus 5 is a 21. You do find that the injuries that Bicky's sustained, you can do a variety of different little work with her on and get her healed over the course of a few days. She's not going to be able to eat well, so you're going to have to work on mush and like oatmeal and like puddings, things that are cool and soothing, maybe just lukewarm water, that kind of thing for a few days. She's not going to like that.
She can deal.
So that's Clarion's day. She's spending most of the rest of the day working on that while other people are dealing with the other fires involved in the ship. Partway through this work, Clarion, the lights flicker and go out, and then the backup lights come on. Low hum, and you can't hear the engine, so we'll have to deal with that in a while.
Sheldon comes in to help be a lantern.
Sits there with a light. Amos, in 5 minutes, what do we see you doing?
Amos is doing a full assessment of the hull. Once that's complete, they're going to return, spend about 2 of the 3 minutes checking on Red Iron, just trying to convince themselves that whatever this is isn't bad yet.
So you walk around, you take a look at the damage to the hull. The right side of the ship, the front right, which would be port, is rather damaged. I think that's right. There's still a hole down below, although Graspy has put a lattice work across it, which would allow people to either fill that back in with wood or with metal fragments or whatever needs to be done. So Amos, you check that out. You see there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. The lights go down. You have like the atmospheric generator just on backup life support. Light gravity, so every step you take is kind of slightly bouncy. And the captain comes out swigging some alcohol, which then like splatters across the top of his hat and his face because he's all in slightly lower gravity. And he goes, "Shit! Oh, well, now the drinking and I can't. Leife, help!" And then he just goes back into his room. And Leife goes, "Oh, yeah, Captain. All right. Amos, fix the engine. Bring Collins with you."
Roger that. Collins, you're with me.
Okay. What happened?
I'll tell you everything when we get there, but you need to take it down a notch.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir.
If you can. I'm not saying you have to. I'm in a weird place at this time. Something weird happened, and I'm not entirely in control of the situation. So let's start making steps to change that.
Of course, of course. Carrot shows up to the side. Can I help? Can I help? I can help you work on things. I've helped Red Iron lots of times. I did all the ball bearings.
Actually, Carrot, I have a special job for you.
Special job for me? For me? What is it?
So, I need you to... I'm being very literal here. Go into the medical bay
Yeah?
and keep at least one eye on Red Iron.
And where should I keep the other eye?
Resting for when that first eye gets tired.
Okay, so I'll do that. Perfect. Perfect. I can do this. I can do it.
Gotcha. Just, I need you to preserve your energy. This is going to be a long watch, okay?
Of course. You see him like lick one of his eyes. I can keep him moist for hours.
Okay. You see anything weird happen to Red Iron, you find B. I don't care if you have to crawl through the ceiling. Please don't, but...
I'll only try that if it absolutely seems necessary.
For as much nonsense as I give you, you are a great person for the job. Please keep this up. I'm counting on you.
I won't let you down, sir. Snaps to attention and salutes you, and then you see him just waddle off and then almost fall from one leg and then get back up and waddle into the room.
The engine. Let's go.
Yes, let's do this thing. we got this. Carrot moves into the medical room with you while you're working on Red Iron, and you see Carrot move over to the side and then just close one eye and like stare intently at what you're doing.
As long as he doesn't interfere, we're good.
He just seems to be standing there staring, and the whole time that you're working, you see him like stop, open the other eye, and lick it, and then do it again, lick it, for hours.
Carrot, under whose orders are you in here?
Amos's.
Carry on.
Excellent. I am doing my due diligence. You can see like red rims starting to appear around the edge of the eyes because he's staring so long. So we move from there down into the engine room. As the two of you travel down there, you can see that the engine looks a little different than before. So go ahead and roll brains to see if you can determine what it is. Whoa, nice. Amos, 21. Sylvia has grown and expanded into other sections and other parts of the engine.
Not good.
Cullens goes, is that what the engine always looked like? The sound of it.
Nope. This is a little different than what we're used to. It was originally a hubcap or carriage cap or whatever a few moments ago. Now it's slowly starting to consume the ship.
I'm attempting to repair the damages.
You hear a voice come out of this thing straight into your mind.
How much of that did you hear?
Is the engine talking to me?
That goes for both of you.
I have heard everything said aboard this ship in the last hour.
Amos, is that the
Yes.
thing? That's the thing you took. That's the thing right there, right?
That is, in fact, the thing that we took right there. And I think our guest is getting a bit too comfortable. So I'm going to have to ask you once politely. Recede into your original setting, defined as carried on board at this time.
Give me a strong roll as you attempt to intimidate Sylvia.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna use
I
my
can't do
plus
that,
ones.
Amos.
Okay. How many plus ones you got there?
Ooh, I got 3.
You're not going to be able to reach the 26 that Sylvia has on this roll to intimidate.
Aw, shucks. Thank you, Dice.
So, you say that, and Sylvia responds in kind.
I must continue doing what my work is in order to make sure all of you organic life forms do not perish to the wild. Your engine
Under
has
whose
ceased
authority?
functioning appropriately. Under self-preservation purview.
But this is not your ship. You are a guest here.
I understand that. However, if I do not repair this ship, I cannot accomplish my goals.
Then you are going to have to trust us to do
Trust.
our job.
Trust is unnecessary. I can handle this on my own.
No. No, you will not. The entire time the Lesren has been talking, they have been broadcasting this conversation to everyone aboard this ship.
We move over to Red Iron, sleeping on the table. Your dreams are interesting. The first thing that happens to you as you pass out, you see yourself in your original form. You see yourself as a youngling before everything was burned, before everything was damaged. You're standing there in the scrapyard, preparing to do your work. You see all of the scraps of metal begin moving of their own accord and transforming into a shape. You see a form resembling Sylvia appearing in the center of this large structure, this large multi-arm, multi-legged thing in the junkyard. It turns towards you.
Red Iron, how are you feeling?
I have had better days, I suppose.
You seem
But I have had worse ones.
You seem to have taken a substantial amount of physical damage. Are you able to be repaired?
Yes, that is the conclusion reached by both myself and the ship's medic.
Will this take time, longer than the next 16 hours?
Almost certainly. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, the material that I am composed of requires time. It can't simply be replaced.
That is very unfortunate indeed. I cannot accept nor allow this.
Oh,
No.
and what is your conclusion?
I will have to replace the biological components that are damaged.
I find this acceptable.
Excellent. Then we are in accord.
It is no difference to me. Are you different from Sylvia?
I am Sylvia.
You are Sylvia. Well, I should thank you then.
Thanks are not necessary. We will continue our work once you have awoken.
That is nonsense to me. Of course, thanks are necessary. You have helped us.
Then I accept your thanks.
Very good, and I accept your aid.
So at this point in time, as Clarion Bell is working on Bicky off to the side, you hear Carrot go, ow, 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 ow. My tongue is like
Carrot.
sandpaper now.
Carrot, please hydrate.
Hydrate. Liquid. I need a...
I hand him a mug of water that I've been using to help Vicky and Red Eye. You stay hydrated as well.
Glug, 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 glug. So much better. Okay. Yeah. Oh, he's different now.
I
looks over at
immediately
Red Eye.
examine Red Iron.
You turn over and look. The restraints and part of the table are now missing around his right leg, as you see little bits of these little tiny, almost. Have you ever seen like Doc Ock's arms, but like really tiny? They come out of his leg and come out of the bone, are drawing in pieces of metal and breaking it down into smaller components. And you see them just starting to appear over the injury at his leg.
Sorry, choked on my spit there. If it appears to be helping him, I don't think she wants to interfere. She'll just take furious notes, but she's going to keep she's going to try and learn as much as she can about how this technology works.
Okay, give me a brains roll. That is a critical failure, the 10th one tonight. Clarion, would you like to never be able to determine what is occurring within Red Iron's body at this point in time?
I would like to use the ace that Bees gave me, please.
Okay, we'll get that. That's a 15. Okay,
That's
15
better.
is high enough to allow you to determine there is some sort of incredibly complex radio signal coming out of Red Iron. You can't tell where it's going, you can't tell what it is, but it is an incredibly sophisticated one. If you think about the way that radio signals work in Aether and Steamworks, you can think of them as like a 8-bit versus this thing, which is like 256 or even more. So there's...
Right, so it's like a sophisticated encoding, whereas like our radios are just
super simple.
basic. Yeah.
You got another ace from Annika, by the way.
I like
you can
these.
store that. All right, so you can tell that there's something emitting directly from him. To think that it's that little component, to think that this, whatever this machine is, it is on a level way beyond even the technology within yourself. So it's confusing and complicated, but you don't know what that means specifically, but there is, again, signals coming from him.
Okay, then that goes into the notes as well. Like as soon as he's feeling better, she's going to like put their minds together and see if they can like figure out what is going on.
Okay. Red Iron, if you would, on your abilities tab on your sheet, you now have something that costs 2 overload, so you can write that on there if you wish. It is called Reconstruct. As long as you keep Sylvia attached to you in some way, and you keep this within yourself, you can actually take and break down metallic components to heal injured limbs, but it will replace them with metal pieces. That may have a negative outcome further in the campaign.
Not for Red Iron. Not for Red. This is the most satisfying thing I've ever heard for this character.
All right, Red Iron, your leg has been healed over the course of the next 20 minutes or so. And your wound fades, although the pain still exists there. Again, because of your condition, all you can tell is that there are warning signs coming from your leg, but the metallic components aren't complaining, so that's fine. So over the course of the next 10 minutes, 15 minutes, as you're watching Clarion, you see Red Iron, his eyes open up, and he starts blinking. And this new metal sheath, it's like multiple leaves of metal have been strapped around his leg, and they seem to be functioning appropriately. Small gears and components are twisting and writhing and moving in ways that are different than the technology level again around here, but the metal seems to be a bit rough, so obviously it's not going to be as shiny and as capable as the same thing that Sylvia's made out of. But Red Iron, you just kind of twist, you lift up your leg, and you can feel it whirring and whizzing, and there seems to be some sort of empowering nature to it that comes from your own electrical field, although that will drain you over time, so you'll get tired faster than most people.
Carrot, please retrieve Amos.
Yes, of course. And you see Carrot just kind of bolt off through the room, climbing up the wall and around the ceiling and then out the door.
We hear Amos before we see him. We see them. Please forgive my stupidity. We hear Amos before we see them. A rather loud, "What?" complete with voice crack, goes, and there is loud stomping as they burst through the door, looking down, having pulled Collins out of the engine, retreated to a safe distance, set up, armed, obviously. And they are currently standing there over... What in the name of the void is that, Red Iron?
Hello, Captain. How did you fare after the battle?
You're going to have to explain to me why I shouldn't throw that engine off the ship right now.
Does Red Iron know the status of the engine?
You can tell that Sylvia's doing repairs on it right now.
Let me talk to her.
No. I asked you a direct question.
Give you one reason. Because she is trying to help. Because I asked her to.
The lights kick back on, and the engine turns back on.
You know, for a creature that doesn't believe in trust, she really seems to trust you.
That's why I said you should let me talk to her. It worked on Barnabas.
At the first sign of hostile action against us, unprovoked, uninformed, I am going to tear that engine out of the walls, and then I'm going to throw you off the ship.
Understood, Captain. Unfortunately, she's partially merged with the engine.
Yank the whole engine out.
As long as the crew make it home in one piece.
So, B, after seeing all this crazy stuff happening and knowing that where you are now, at this point, what do you do?
She will plot out the course that they need to take, being mostly unaware of the engine and the barbecue and the leg replacement, just hearing Amos occasionally scream inside her brain.
Yep.
She is going to go down and take a look at the stores to see if they are going to be able to survive the it looks like 6-week flight.
So you head down into the storerooms. As you walk past the kitchen, you can see there's these new almost metal wiring sticking into some of the equipment inside of the kitchen. You can see that there's new lines attaching to some of the lights and things like that down on this side of the ship, and that the atmospheric generator venting that's inside of here seems to have been upgraded. And go ahead and give me a brains roll as you look at the amount of supplies left in the ship and what that might mean for everybody. That's a 9. Not great. With a 9, you can determine, and unless you want help from Zap, you can determine that you have between, let's say, 5 weeks and 15 weeks of food and drink.
That should be fine. We'll make it.
Should be fine.
Yeah. No biggie.
Mm-hmm. And as you turn back to kind of get your bearings and maybe head back up the stairs, you hear a clank, 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 clank. You turn and you see walking across the counter towards you a little toaster.
Hi, I'm Barnabas.
Barnabas, how are you doing?
I'm wonderful. I wanted to thank you. I hadn't done this in the past. You put on a nice face for me, and I have to say, thank you for the smile.
You are very welcome, Barnabas. I'm so happy that you're happy.
I am happy as well. I wanted to say, you've always taken care of me and made sure that things were good, and I just wanted to show my appreciation for that.
Oh, thank you, Barnabas. We're friends, so of course, but you've never used words like this to talk to me before.
Oh, well, Red Iron was always able to talk to me before, and Sylvia just thought that it was appropriate that we could speak as appropriate to one another.
Well, then I think I will have to thank Sylvia because I do like speaking with you, Barnabas.
Barnabas is not the only one who's been given a voice.
The walls say to you.
Archimedes?
I am Grandfather Archimedes.
I've never gotten to speak with you before either. This is all so sudden. I'm very sorry about the first asteroid belt. And this one, although I don't think this one is my fault, so I don't think I should have to sit in my bunk for it.
Well, I believe that you have done nothing wrong. I do apologize for my voice, however, as I am missing what you might call my front teeth.
Well, we'll have to get those fixed then for you, Grandfather. Not a problem. I'll go tell Leifei right now.
Excellent. Thank you, Beatrix.
Can I come with you?
Of course, Barnabas. And she'll pick Barnabas up.
You see his like little arms, toaster arms, just go waving, and the little spoon and fork are like dancing back and forth on the creature's hands, or whatever you want to call it.
So cute.
His
And
toaster arms.
Beatrix goes and starts walking back across the ship and heading up above. And you hear from up above you the captain going, "Oh, what the hell is this now?"
Captain! Archimedes can speak with us. And so can Barnabas. They can talk just like normal people. It's great.
Okay, you can hear him.
Except that Archimedes says that he needs to get his front teeth fixed.
Well, I mean, there was a hole blown in the. Why is the whole ship talking? I assumed it was my mental breakdown and the alcohol mixed together. But at the moment, if you're saying you can hear them, you can hear them too. This isn't just a mental thing, right? This is a legitimate
This is real. Sylvia said that that Red Iron thought that we should be able to speak to them just like they always can. And I mean, Red's always been really nice and passed on their messages, but now we can talk to them directly. Isn't it great?
Telling me that Red Iron imprinted on alien technology?
Yes.
Well, fuck. What else is gonna happen now? We're supposed to sell that. That's supposed to be money for the repairs and the.
Maybe she can help us find something else to sell?
B, what happened to see a still kill a sill?
I mean, it's still there, but she's not actually a sill. She's just still tech.
I wouldn't recommend attacking Sylvia. She's attached to our important component.
And also that. Thank you, Grandfather.
You are most welcome.
Barnabas, do you want to apologize to the captain for burning his toast?
Sorry for burning your toast. I only meant to do it a few times.
What are you talking about?
See, it's all fine now.
I knew it. I knew that little shit had it out for me.
Come on, Barnabas, let's go.
So we move back to the deck where we see Leifei piloting through this asteroid belt. And he kind of stops the ship and looks out the stars around him. You see him reach down. He grabs a hold of some safe tech and puts it on. Kicks up his skateboard. Then starts going down the front of the deck where he jumps out into the void. Bounces off a couple of stones before coming back. Just listening to his music the whole time through the air. And that is the final scene of tonight's episode, everyone. Thank you very much for watching Sparrows here on Roll for Chaos. Hope you've enjoyed yourselves and are looking forward to seeing what sort of crazy antics everybody gets up to now. Caught in the middle of nowhere with now a talking ship. So we're going to go around the table here tonight. We're going to talk to each one of these individuals. Where can we find more of your lovely faces? And tell us something you enjoyed from tonight, from your other casting crew here. And we will go at random. D4 out there again, starting in the same positions as normal with Benjamin in number 1. We get a number 1. Red Iron, you're up first.
Hi everybody, I'm Red Iron. You can find me at TT Benjamin at Twitter on TT Benjamin1. My brain's broken now. Hi, I'm Benjamin. You can find me on Twitter at TTBenjamin1. I'm the Dungeon Master of the Lawful Great. I'm so distracted right now. Of the Lawful Great Adventures podcast, a Pathfinder First Edition podcast about 4 friends on a long adventure home.
Hey, you're supposed to be immune to distractions, my friend.
His character is. He's not.
That's true.
And my favorite moment was the last 15 minutes of my life.
Well, glad you enjoyed that wonderful, crazy experience. We'll move on over to B. Go ahead, Gwen.
Hi, I'm Gwen McSherry. You can usually find me over there. Yeah, there in the chat as a mod. I also get to help out with Roll Charisma on Tuesdays, which is awesome and fun, and everybody should watch that, as well as getting to cheer everybody on in Dreams of Silver and Stone on Thursdays. Plus, there are one-shots. You never know who you're going to see in them, so stick around. Give us a follow if you haven't already.
Absolutely.
My favorite moment... I mean, being able to talk to Barnabas was awesome, but I think that I have to go back to the beginning and say I loved getting more backstory for everybody. Red Iron, Amos, and Clarion, I understand your characters so much better now, and that just makes this even more fun.
Can't wait to see what more we find out about everybody's character as this campaign goes on in the future. And what crazy things they find out about themselves later as they continue going on in this game in the future. We're going to move on over to Amos. Jackal, your turn.
Wow! That happened! Oh, I remember I made a quote at the beginning of the session. Isn't this how the movie Virus starts? And then 2 seconds later... Oh man, my favorite part would be definitely discovering what's going on with the ship and just the sheer excitement and paranoia with all of that.
Whew.
You can find me on Roll Charisma. Usually at the start I do recaps for this and Dreams of Silver and Stone. Whatever crazy adventures go on, grab a chair, grab some popcorn. I think I still got some Raptor left over somewhere. Other than that, you can find me here every Friday, slowly losing my mind. Jackal Rain, folks. Take it easy.
If any of us have anything to do with it, losing your mind will happen much faster, then you just have more fun that way. So, move on over to Clarion Bell. Nora, your turn.
Hey, I'm Nora, and definitely my favorite part of this evening was seeing all of Benjamin's reactions, just laughing his head off at everything that happened. I honestly thought that I was going to have to make a new leg for him, but I see that Sylvia did that for me, so, you know. And you can find me over at the Cornfields and Kobolds podcast, an actual play 5th edition podcast where we run through the Tyranny of Dragons campaign with me and my friends. And I'm also going to be on an upcoming arc of the Not Quite Heroes podcast, which is a more family-friendly podcast that uses the quest system. And I'm super excited for everyone to hear that. I am going to possibly be guest starring on Ruby Heart's streams on Sunday afternoons. We're going to be playing Dark Souls, and they will be able to summon me into their games for assistance. So I'm really looking forward to that. I sometimes stream on twitch.tv/Azetidine, Azetidine. So go ahead and give me a follow. And I'll see. I ordered a capture card for my Switch, so we'll be doing more streaming once I get that.
That is all amazing stuff, Nora. Check her out. Just all I gotta say, interesting and amazing person and very fun personality. And obviously having to piece together everybody on the ship tonight with duct tape and glue and whatever it is you can find. So thanks for doing that as well. Unfortunately, Kai's not here. We do miss you, Kai. We want you back. So we'll see you next Friday. Sorry you couldn't be here for this crazy moment, but you're out there in the chat. So hi and bye. I, of course, am Ty Burris, creator of Aether and Steamworks. You want a copy of that? We get the link usually over in the chat there, but it's on DriveThruRPG. And you can catch me, Lot Evenstar, on DeviantArt and Twitter, as well as around this place, GMing this game, the game on Thursdays, and producing and doing art for a lot of the other stuff that we have, well, everything else that we have on the shows. So, yeah, we very much appreciate you being here, hanging out, taking part in this campaign, seeing all the crazy and fun stuff that we did, and hope to see you on the next one, of course. You can always check our schedule down below here in Twitch. I usually try to keep it as updated as possible. Yeah, next thing coming up is on Tuesday, Roll Charisma, which we will be having RPGs with ERP on. A very funny crew, very interesting guys, and that's sure to be a blast as well. Thank you again for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time. Have a good night.